What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the show. My name is Adam. I'll be your host here on Hobby Hotline. This is episode 340, and we are here with Victor from True RCs, and then we also are here with John, who I just met for the first time. So I'll start with you, John. You know, was this your first show? I mean, sometimes I feel like I want to make sure that if it is your first show, I give you the shout out there. But is this your first show?
No, this is my third show. Although I jumped on with Orlando in an emergency situation one
Nice.
week when nobody was on.
Nice, awesome. Yeah, that's our first time meeting, so it's great to meet you. How's your week been? What have you been up to?
Just watching Strongsville videos, and I have lots of hobby friends there. They're shooting me pictures of their pickups left and right. So a lot of great cards being purchased there.
Nice. Yeah, love that. Victor, how about you? Kind of same question. How's your week been? What you been up to?
Adam, you know what I like to do when I'm on Hobby Hotline with John Mangini? He already knows. I like to look at baseball cards. So
nice.
Nice Larry Walker that I pulled out of the archives this morning. I'm doing good. Good morning, guys. Good morning to the chat. Good morning, Hobby, and let's do this.
I just got three more texts with pictures from Strongsville right now.
Nice.
How about you, Adam?
Actually,
Adam,
that is
Adam, how about you?
Yes.
How are you doing?
Oh, how about me? Well,
Yeah.
So on Wednesdays, I play in a bowling league, and I also go to the Walmart that's next to where the bowling alley is. And this week, I pulled one of the orange crystal Caitlin Clarks out of Prism, so that was pretty cool. I usually buy like cheaper products, like $25 or so. I mean, I don't go for the full blasters of like Prism because at this point those are just too expensive. So I was able to find one of the smaller like hanger boxes. So I pulled that, and I pulled one of the Caitlin Clark. So that's pretty cool. I'm probably going to bring that to the National actually. So yeah, that was very exciting.
Pull, man.
I
Nice.
also have not cashed the ticket yet, but I did have Florida to win the national championship at plus 290. So that is a $20 to $75 ticket that I do need to cash at some point. So that was pretty exciting.
Is that Caitlin numbered?
The orange crystal or sparkle or whatever they call it. No, those ones aren't numbered. They're just the extra cards that come in those hanger boxes.
Okay.
Are you taking that to the National to sell or trade it?
Probably get it graded. I mean, I was looking on eBay, and it didn't look like many were graded that were being sold. So I'll probably get it graded. I mean, that's my trip out to the National this year is mostly just to get stuff graded. I mean, I don't know, something about sending the cards through the mail, and there's just too many hands on the cards that I feel like if I just go out to the National, get the stuff graded, then they send it back to me directly. That's my plan of action, at least for this year's National for sure.
Will they be doing same-day grading? I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. Yeah, they probably will. I mean, I'll just do the bulk or value or whatever it ends up being. I mean, I think 2 years ago, I sent stuff and got it graded, and then it was fairly quick. I mean, I think it was like only 3 or 4 months I got it back, which for the bulk and the value submissions is, it's longer than maybe you'd like, but it's not so bad.
That's funny. I never thought, back few years back that 3 or 4 months would be fast.
yeah, I know, right? It's crazy to see the difference there and how large grading has become. And actually, you guys perfectly transitioned into what we are going to talk about for the first topic. Let me pull up. Let me see here. We've got a big show out in Strongsville. And, Victor, I'll start off with you. What you got on Strongsville show? I mean, this was one that you guys both wanted to talk about. So here's the floor for you guys.
Yeah, man. I wanted to go to this one, and I couldn't make it. I only live, maybe it's a 4.5 hour drive for me to get there, but I couldn't make it. I know I've been watching a lot of videos on it as well. I know this morning I got a chuckle out of they did a Mike Moynihan and the guys did a live video on what do they call that, John? I forgot what they call that. Showcase
Showdown.
Man, what a fantastic video that was. Really enjoyed it. Looks like they had a great turnout there. A lot of people there, and man, I just wish I could be there. Is what it boils down to, but I really don't. That episode that those guys do, the Showcase Showdown, in my opinion, is so good. I don't know why PSA has not reached out to them, because what they do is it's really affiliated with the set registry, and why PSA doesn't sponsor those guys in those shows. They're just flat out amazing. If you guys have not checked it out, here to look for those videos, because they're really good.
Nice. So John, how about you?
Well, the Strongsville show is becoming the biggest show for vintage collectors. The cards there are absolutely insane. The the money being spent there is absolutely insane, and they have just about everything. If you're into the vintage and you're looking for the rare stuff, they have it there. And I think a lot of vintage collectors are preferring that show these days over the National as a more focused vintage show, and not quite the crowds and everything else that goes along with it.
Interesting. So I'll ask you a question here, John. Do you think? I feel like there are so many shows nowadays, just all over the country, and it's a phenomenal time to be someone who likes going to shows, because you realistically could go to, I feel like, a big show like this every single weekend. And with the National coming up, that's when it's kind of like every show kind of combines. So John, for you, and then I'll ask you this, Victor, too. When you're going to the shows like this, do you like shows that are more specific in a certain category, or do you like the National where it's like anything and everything?
I like the specifics. In fact, I think as time goes on, with the rise of Pokemon at shows, and many people collect modern but don't collect vintage, and many people collect vintage and don't collect modern, that the National, because it has gotten so large and it's so crowded, and I think that you're going to see more specialized shows. It's a better experience than having to shift through a lot of the stuff that you may not collect, booth after booth. Like if you're not into breaking, you have a whole breaking room at the National. And I think that's why the Strongsville show has gotten so popular, is because if you're just collecting vintage and that's what you're looking for, you go there and it's just booth after booth after booth after booth of stuff that appeals to you.
Nice. Yeah, that's all. Yeah, that's great. I mean, I am not somebody that necessarily goes to a ton of shows. I mean, my big show every year is the National, and then sometimes there's a Boston show. Like I know that they did one at Fenway. I think it was last year, at Fenway Park. It was a Card Vault, who is now half owned by Tom Brady. I think that was kind of crazy news that happened like a few months ago, where Tom Brady bought, and they totally changed their branding to like Card Vault by Tom Brady, which I think was also very interesting. I know that they do some Fenway shows. They've done some shows like at the venue at the TD Garden, which was very cool. I've been there a couple times. Victor, so I'll ask you kind of the same question here. Are you more of a individual category type show person, or like the National where everything and anything you can kind of find? Like, which one are you into the most, you think?
Man, I like them all, Adam, to be honest with you. But to me, yeah, the National is near and dear to me. Besides, going to the Dallas Card Show, which I visited a couple of times, I don't really. Those are probably the two major shows that I go to. I love them both. But other than that, I have a small local show near me that happens once a month. And that's all of the card show doing that I do between those three. I do sense that there is a shift happening amongst card shows. Strongsville here is a good example. Heavy vintage. A lot of us in the community are kind of going that way, but also in the Pokemon sector, there's just a lot of transitions happening where people are kind of like breaking off and kind of doing individual specialized shows, and it is what it is. It doesn't bother me either way.
Yeah, I think I think it's good to have a combination of both too. Like in my opinion, I think the National too. For me, it's more just going out and seeing everybody. I think that's sort of the show that everybody
Yeah.
whether you are a vintage collector or you're a basketball collector or you're baseball or Pokemon or anything. I mean, that's the show where everybody is going. And I mean, even if you're trying to book hotel rooms, like I know that the one hotel that's like connected to, I think it's like the Hilton that's connected to the National, like there's that tunnel that's already sold out for hotel rooms. So like you'll be lucky if you can find, maybe somebody canceled and you'll be lucky on one day. So, this is maybe a forewarning for anybody who hasn't booked their trip out to the National. Just know that the hotels are already pretty scarce. So, you might have to find one outside the area. I mean, even the one that I stayed at, I think 2 years ago, that was next to the casino, I believe. It was like the Rivers Casino. Like that one I booked fairly late into the process, but still, I mean, it was that. And then I had to Uber there. I mean, it was like 1.5 miles to drive. And, so that's one thing to look out for.
There's plenty of hotels on the outskirts too. Even going to it, you can be in another town in like less than 5 miles. And
right, exactly. Yeah, and I mean, if you're willing to take the Ubers, like that ends up being probably your best bet. I mean that, or paying for parking. I mean, it's one or the other. I mean, you're saving money from either taking an Uber, or you're going to maybe potentially save money by going out a little bit farther and renting a car potentially. So, but then you got to pay for parking. I mean, it's all, it's kind of like a formula almost. So you got to figure out which areas you want to save money in. Cause then if you want to go to the show and you want to buy stuff, I mean, it's really, it's almost like you got to have a whole plan, which, as we get closer, I'm sure there's going to be tons of people that will be talking about the National. So if you're looking for national content, don't worry. There's going to be literally, you won't be able to consume the amount of national content there will be as we get closer there. So any other Strongsville stuff you guys want to talk about before we move on to the next topic for the show here?
No.
Nope.
Okay, cool. Let's go to a card this week that was announced that was graded by PSA. That is going to be going to the Heritage. Is going to be going through Heritage that I believe will be sold this summer. So I've heard that this card will be at the Heritage booth at the National, which, again, that's another. I mean, I guess maybe there is more national stuff that we're kind of discussing here for the most part. But yeah, this 1/1 Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant dual auto logo man has been graded by PSA. It looks like it got a 6. So I mean, not the best grade necessarily, but it is also like almost a 20-year-old card, which I can't believe that 2007 was almost 20 years ago at this point. I keep seeing like videos on TikTok that's like talking about 1999, they're like, that's 25 years ago. I'm just like, no. I don't think that's correct. But yeah, so Victor, I'll start out here with you. What do you think about this card when you saw it this week? Kind of what are your overall thoughts on this card for in general?
As a Jordan collector myself, I mean, I love this kind of thing. I just wish, a 1/1 too. My goodness. What's the story? How did this card surface? Where has it been? To me, seems to be the most interesting side of it. Do we know any of that? Was any of that given to us?
I think it was just like announced this week that it was graded by PSA.
Okay.
If I had to guess, there will be some sort of marketing done around this card, like story wise, just because, I don't know. I mean, like you said, a card like this, there has to be some sort of story that is to be told. So like if the person who got the card graded wants the story to be told, I'm sure that they will. I mean, hopefully they will, because like these are the pieces of history that I think sports cards we see every now and then, but like a Jordan Kobe 1/1 is like, so it feels like there can't be that many of these cards. So it feels it must be, I don't know, under 10 1/1s like this. Like there can't be that many.
This will easily go into the 7 figures, in my opinion. That's for sure.
Yeah, I agree with that. John, how about you? What were your kind of thoughts on this card when you saw it this week?
Well, I'm kind of with Victor. I'd like to know the backstory, where that thing came from. It's certainly going to go for a boatload. I don't have many thoughts on it. I mean, it's not really my cup of tea, but gotcha. It'll go for a lot of money. I wish I had it so I could sell it and buy some Babe Ruths and stuff.
Yeah, right, exactly. So Victor, I'll ask you this kind of question here. This card, 2007 Kobe Jordan. Do you think that cards like this, and it's more of just a theoretical question, do you think cards like this can still be produced? And are there any athletes right now that could have a card like this produced, and then let's say 20 years from now it gets discovered, or is like this, or do you think that this is an era of sports cards, or 2007 when the card was produced, that is lost in time, and almost like we won't see really an era like that?
We often imitated, never duplicated, right? You've got, a 2007 Upper Deck logoman here of two of the, in my opinion anyways, two of the greatest basketball players to ever play the game. This is the apex of basketball card collecting, in my opinion. It's again, often imitated, but never duplicated. We can try to, they do make stuff like this today, but nothing compares to this level here. I don't think there's any player, even if we were to put LeBron and whoever, I still don't think the caliber of Jordan and Kobe on something like this is just next level, man.
Yeah, right. I agree. So John, I'll ask you this question. Sort of with Topps getting back into the fold for basketball, it's kind of similar, like how Victor was saying, sorry, what did you say? Duplicated, never replicated. What was the saying you said?
Close enough.
Yeah. Something like that. Yeah. Do you think Topps would ever be able to, like, with them coming back, do you think that there's ever an opportunity where, like, if they were to get a patch from the 75th year, like, for example, for LeBron, and they were to put it on, I don't know, like a Luka card or something like that, do you think that there is a chance that any card could ever be produced that, would be similar to this one with any modern players?
I'm sorry, you cut out. I didn't hear the last part of that.
Oh, sorry. It was just with modern players. Do you think that there are any two modern players nowadays that could be put on a card like this that we would look at it similarly to how this card is looked at?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. In baseball, there is. I mean, imagine a Judge Ohtani card.
Yeah,
that would be huge. In basketball, I don't know. Everybody loves Luka. Maybe Luka LeBron. Now that they're both on the Lakers.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that would be cool. And then this week we also saw Luka's first Lakers card. Also, I didn't put that on the topic sheet, but that was one of the cards that I saw this week. That there is in Prism Monopoly, which again, not a product I'm a huge fan of. If I'm going to be completely honest, there are some short prints of Luka wearing a Lakers jersey in that product. So if you're seeing any Prism Monopoly from 24-25, there's a chance that you're pulling one of the first Luka cards, which I think that those are some of those have started to hit eBay. So pretty cool, I suppose. Somebody said Tatis and Acuna wouldn't be far behind Judge and Ohtani. I think that's probably pretty true. I mean, I think Acuna too is another player who in the hobby has such like staying power, I feel like, and maybe after the injury hasn't been as explosive as he had been before. Or maybe it's just that we've moved sort of past, like, with the hobby, it's so interesting that like as soon as the next rookie class comes out, it almost feels like we just forget about the old rookie class. So as we move to like, Paul Skeens and Ellie De La Cruz, it's like people forget that Acuna was like, at one point, Acuna was the Paul Skeens of that era. So somebody said, Luka and Caitlin Clark. I think that would be I think like that would be kind of cool, I suppose. Let's see.
Yeah, mixing WNBA and NBA like that. That'd be cool.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see. Then somebody said, how about the non-licensed? Oh, yeah, those are I don't know, I guess it would be Topps, but we got Curry LeBron. That might potentially be a card I think we got from vintage old ball cards. We'll go ahead.
I was just going to say, what would be really cool? They don't do this anymore. Multi-sport set with different sports together. Like in 2002, they did Upper Deck Superstars, and they had Tiger Woods, Pujols, and Ichiro, and they had Michael Vick, who was hot at that time, and they did all kind of dual patches and autos.
Oh wow, yeah, that's
They
cool.
did them like in the city, so you would have Wayne Gretzky and Jason Giambi, for instance, or Mario Lemieux and Brian Giles together, stuff like that. And
Yeah.
you don't see any really cool multi-sport sets anymore.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the issues with licensing, and I suppose that is kind of the next topic of conversation. Actually, here is
I think Wild Card makes a little something now, if I'm not mistaken. I don't quote me on that, but yeah, it's, you don't see it as often. You don't see it as much as you did back in the 80s and 90s. That's for sure.
For those of us who collect all sports, it's those sets are really fun for me because you get all the athletes, especially when they're like tailored to the hometown teams.
Mm-hmm.
Most people that are, Cardinal fans are probably Blues fans and stuff like that.
Right.
I really enjoyed that set and putting together all the different patches and stuff like that. There were a few autographs in there, and of course, Pujols and Ichiro were real hot at the time. Tiger Woods was really hot at the time. And you just have a great mix of all the greatest athletes of the era, of the time. And, multi-sport sets have been around since the early days. I mean, you go back to Allen and Ginter, 1933 Sport Kings, stuff like that. Get back to the roots. I love multi-sport sets.
Yeah. There's a cool multi-sport set that is from like, it was called like World Stars from like 2001 to 2005. I don't even know what the company was. I just know that like Rolandinho is like a player that I really like, a player that I've gotten, like I bought a bunch of cards. He's an old soccer player. And technically his second card, his first card was like a sticker, which is what the case is with a lot of soccer stuff. But he had like a World Stars, because and I don't know if it was print on demand or what it was, but it was like impossible to find this card. So like one day it popped up on eBay, and I don't know if I've ever hit buy now quicker on any card, because I had been looking for that card for like years, because it just is like so impossible to find. Like it was like very like nobody had it. It was really kind of an odd card. And I mean, now we don't really see the multi-sports because of the licensing, unfortunately. Like every PA, every players association has their own licensing, which is I know kind of a good segue here into what we're going to talk about. The next topic is going to be a football related topic. We've got Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter have signed exclusive contracts with Panini, which on one hand, I guess is good that Panini has signed them. On the other hand, I don't love the exclusive contracts. I wish just like everybody could just sign with whoever and they could just do whatever they want. I'll let you guys go first. So Victor, what were your, I don't know if you saw this week, what were your kind of thoughts on them signing these two players?
I did see it. I follow this quite a bit because there's been a lot of games being played with this. And unfortunately, I feel the collectors are the ones who have to pay the consequences, because now we're living in an era where they're licensed by one company but have exclusive contracts for their autographs with another company. And it's just causing all kinds of chaos, in my opinion, anyways, from what I see. And Panini signing these guys when they're on their way out. I don't know what's up with perhaps the ignorance of these players, that they perhaps don't know what's going on in the market, that they would sign with Panini. Maybe Panini threw a bunch of money at them. I don't know what's really going on, but I wouldn't. Why would they sign a 1-year deal or an exclusive contract with Panini when Panini's getting ready to lose their license? So now what it seems like is going to happen, or I'm speculating now, is that Panini and Fanatics are going to swap places. So once the licenses are up, Panini's going to be the one making a bunch of unlicensed product, and then have these guys locked in with their autographs. So it's crazy, man. I don't like it.
So what's the deal? Are they only going to have rookie cards in Panini?
Official ones, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that Topps will have unlicensed versions of their cards, but if they don't have autographs, I don't really see them doing very well at all. I mean, I don't know. It's just the unlicensed stuff. It just doesn't really make much sense to me. Like, I guess if you're a card company, you're making money from them, but like, at what point is it almost diminishing returns? Like when you're making a product that no one wants and could potentially just sit on shelves for years, and then it almost feels like there's a
but that's the problem, Adam.
Almost.
That's the problem. It's selling. So.
Right. Yeah, I guess so.
Licensed or unlicensed, it's moving. So.
Right. Yeah. John, how about you? What were your thoughts here with the signing of those two players?
I mean, I don't have many thoughts on it, to be honest.
Victor, I think you were about to say something.
Yeah, just it's the pursuit of the autograph, right? It carries a lot of weight, and when it comes to licenses, autograph collectors can care less if it's licensed or not. But it seems like, we're going to have Panini and Fanatics swapping places now in the future. I just hope that at the end of all of this, that the decision made by the judge is the same decision that was made in 1981 or in 1980. And it's an open market. Anybody can be licensed. And I really do hope that is actually the best scenario for the hobby, for collectors. And that is, everybody can make cards, get rid of this exclusive license nonsense. So let's hope and see on what the judge decides.
Yeah, that's kind of been my thoughts on it for a while. It's like, I guess I am glad that we are going to see contenders autographs from these guys. We are going to see, hopefully, National Treasures RPAs from them. I mean, that's really the big thing here. I mean, just the past 2 years, actually, with Topps taking over the all of the top players from the draft. Like, I feel like that, like you were saying, Victor, really only the collector is the one that's taking the hit when it comes to the exclusives, because whether it's Panini or whether it's Topps or whether it's the players, they're all making the money. Like, they're all making money from it, and it's like we just have to sit here and sort of accept that. The two of the biggest types of cards, we just can't get them because, they signed an exclusive. And I think I agree with you. I'm hoping that at some point the exclusive sales model, I guess, just kind of goes out the window, because I just don't think it's not good for the industry. And I don't even know, like, it seems like if you're spending the money on the players, again, it's for the card companies, it's more of a profit and loss, I guess, type of decision. Whether it's, a player signing or it's a new product or anything like that. I mean, we have Topps coming out with old products from 2023 still, which is, maybe something we'll cover a little bit later, but it just doesn't seem like they, they care. I don't know. Victor, I'll ask you that, like, the question, like, do you think, like, for Panini, obviously, I think stepping up here is a good thing. But, like, do you think for them, it's like, do you think that they even really care that they didn't have the top quarterbacks from the past two draft classes in any autographs in any of their big products?
Yeah, I think they care. I think they were unjustly, I don't like how they were the officially licensed product for the NFL, and that was taken away from them by the Players Association. The PA reneged on the contract, and there was a lot of shenanigans being played. So do they care? Yeah, I think they care. I think it's hurt them significantly. That's my take on it.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate. I mean, John, I'll kick it to you one more time. Like, do you think, I don't know, like, where do you think that there should be these exclusive contracts, or are you kind of in the middle where it's like you don't really care as much? I mean, I see a lot of baseball stuff behind you, so maybe the basketball, football kind of stuff isn't in your wheelhouse necessarily, but like the exclusive contracts. Do you think that the hobby should have them, or do you think it's like something where it's just a money making thing for any of the companies or the players?
I don't know. I kind of have mixed emotions on it. I don't know that it's necessarily a bad thing. I mean, it for the companies, it's certainly, drawing people to their products. That's what they're in business for. And wherever you put a rookie signature, uh, people are going to pay boatloads for it. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like Victor said earlier. And as far as me having a lot of baseball, I do collect all sports and all eras.
Yeah.
But I'm not.
Nice.
I'm not a big autograph card collector. So
Me neither.
Right.
yeah, I'd
Yeah.
rather just have a card.
Yeah. Yeah, I just don't think, honestly, I don't know. I just don't know enough about autographs where I wouldn't be comfortable buying something that I don't fully know how many of them there are. Like, especially with autographs, like you see Bowman prospects or you see any of these players and they have like these stacks like this high of like thousands and thousands of cards. And it's just like, how many of these cards really are there? It's really kind of tough to tell. And
And how
as
many are
oh, sorry, go ahead.
actually signed by the player or their father or something?
Right.
Because I mean, I know for a fact some are signed by relatives.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Unfortunately, we've seen, whether it's the issue with the Anthony Richardson autographs this past year, where like there was some autos that apparently he was using the pen on, and then when he got called out, he just switched his autograph to just his initials, like AR. So it's really it's tough to tell. And I think someone actually put in the comments here too. I think not all players love to sign autographs on card like Jackson Morrell. He has like a bunch of different autographs, which I think is very, interesting. I saw someone put on Twitter like a couple weeks ago that like, if you look at all of his rookie cards, there's like 10 different autographs that he has. Yeah. So
I didn't see that one. That's interesting.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think I guess I'm fine with it on one hand. On the other hand, it's like rookie, just you have one autograph. I don't know. It's kind of stuff like that. As we are in the beginning of the baseball season, I mean, so John, I'll kind of kick it to you here. How has the beginning of the baseball season been for you card wise? Like, has it been an uptick in anything, or how like, is it as steady as it always been? Like, how has the start of the baseball season been for you?
Well, it's been awful because I'm a Pirate fan. Nothing, sell the damn team already. That's an exciting, Aaron Judge off to an exciting start. And the torpedo bat issue. It was an exciting start to baseball. As far as the cards go, I haven't. I don't know. I haven't gotten any of the new product other than some archives, which is a cool set this year.
Nice. Victor, how about you? Have you noticed any difference since the start of the baseball season? How's that been going for you?
Yeah, as a Cubs fan, we didn't start very good in Japan. We kind of got our rear end smacked, but they're coming along. They're showing some good signs of being a competitive ball club this year. I have not picked up any new product as of yet, but looking forward to the rest of the season. The torpedo bat thing is interesting to me, and I don't know, man. It's if you're a pitcher, it's like, my goodness, I'd hate to be a pitcher in the MLB right now. I'll tell you that much. But we'll see what happens.
The Pirates had some other drama worth bringing up, I guess. So Bob Nutting took the Roberto Clemente sign down in right field and replaced it with advertising. And there was such backlash, especially from Clemente's family, that he reversed that decision. I don't know if you guys heard about that.
I did not hear about that. That's very interesting. But it's kind of.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say it's hard to kind of pinpoint early April of how things are going to. You don't get a feel for it till like mid-May is when you really start to kind of get a feel for who's going to be contending and who isn't.
Yeah, honestly, I've always said baseball doesn't start till after the All-Star game.
Yeah,
that's when you have to peak. I mean, heck, the Pirates were doing great up until the All-Star game last year. They looked like they were going to the playoffs, and they fell off. And that's what happens. It's the teams that peak at the end. The second half of the season's really what matters.
Yeah.
So then, John, I'm assuming that if you had pulled that Paul Skeens card, you probably would you have taken the season tickets, or would you have sold it would you have done what happened to the card where it got sold, or would you have taken the season tickets? I mean, that's kind of as a Pirates fan, is that something that
Well,
would
absolutely
pique your
not,
interest
because
enough?
I don't live in Pittsburgh, so those tickets would be
Right.
useless to me. And even if I did live in Pittsburgh, there's no way in hell I would take the tickets. That's moronic. I mean, that card is life-changing money. Quite
Yeah.
honestly, the first thing I'd do is probably contact Paul Skeens and the Pirates and see if they wanted to, acquire it from me. But I even though I'm a collector, that thing is just too valuable. There's no way in hell I would hold it. I'm a huge Skeens fan. I'm not a big Otto fan. Auto card, I would definitely sell the card or try to get it back to Skeens if he really wanted it, which I think he did. And, it's kind of a shame because of the high value of these collectibles. Ohtani wanted that one ball, and nobody's going to give it to the players. The players don't get these things anymore.
Right.
And it's kind of a shame for them. That's such a relic for them personally, but people are going to take it because they could sell it for $3 million or whatever. And it's kind of a shame in the modern world.
Yeah. I mean, I think it is interesting how all of that stuff, like just a baseball that just hit into the stadium, or it hit as a home run, is like, could be worth $3 million. It really is just, it's kind of mind boggling how something like that could happen, where it's like, the baseball gets produced, and then obviously baseballs don't have thoughts or feelings, but like it has no idea that it's going to be hit into the stands, and someone's going to make $3 million from it. So I guess maybe I'll ask you this question too, John. Were you like, apparently it was bought by Dick's Sporting Goods.
Yes.
Apparently the company bought it, and it's going to be at either the Dick's Sporting Goods, or it's going to be at somewhere near the stadium. Is that something that you would like? Was that something that you would travel to go see, or is that, is it a novelty thing that kind of maybe people will know, or people will like, or do you think people would travel to go see that card hypothetically?
Well, first, it's at Ross Park Mall in Pittsburgh, outside of Pittsburgh in the North Hills. That's where they have it. Would I travel to see it personally? No. Do I think other people would? Probably, if they were in town, going to a game. It's not exactly right next to the stadium by any stretch, but not that far away.
Right. And Victor, kind of same question for you. Is there any piece of memorabilia or card that you would like travel to go see, or is it like for you, if it's there, it's there, like at the National, where there's going to be tons of stuff that probably no one has seen ever. So are you like just somebody who would not really travel to go see the stuff, or, maybe would you? Like, I don't know. That's maybe the question I have for you.
No, I wouldn't plan a trip to go see it. Now, if I'm going there for something else, yeah, I wouldn't mind stopping by to check it out. But if Dick's Sporting Goods spent this amount of coin for the purposes of marketing, I think it would be very wise of them to have a booth at the National and put that card on display. I think it would be a good marketing move on their part. So I'm hoping to see it there, to be honest with you. See what happens.
Yeah,
I think it's exciting for Dick's. I think Dick's is smart to get into this kind of thing. Mm-hmm. In fact, most of the modern patches that we see on cards are probably from Dick's.
Yeah.
They're not. They're not guaranteed to be anything. They're probably cut off of Dick's clothing.
Yeah,
I swear.
Yeah, they pulled the jersey out of my closet and they put it in a card. Like that's sort of like
totally
how they're producing stuff.
They totally ruined the patches. When they first came out, they were guaranteed from certain games, and you could pinpoint this and that. And now they're just so generic. And maybe the rookie touched it in a meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe put it on, took it right back off. They tore it apart, put it on. Like, it's not game used. We don't know where it comes from. And I'm half joking and half not that they could come from Dick's. Who knows? Not to mention the people who replace them with you get a plain white patch and people are replacing them with something fancy. Those probably came from Dick's too.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I guess maybe that's a interesting topic there, like the replacing of patches. Obviously, don't try and sell them at all. Like that's not. I would never want someone to buy that because I feel like it just. I don't know. It almost hurts the integrity of the card itself. But Victor, I'll ask you. Like, do you think that the replacing of patches is something that is cool, or do you think that you wish that people would just not do that?
Yeah, I don't. I don't agree.
What's
with
cool
Phil's-
about it? It's fraud.
Yeah.
It's total
Right.
fraud. I will not buy any modern patches anymore, and I used to. I won't even touch them. They're meaningless. They're useless. They're worthless. You have no idea what's in there.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, I always think back to that meme of who was it, the running back for the New Orleans. He had like 30 jerseys on or something like that. He was like walking around with like 30 jerseys. He was like what's Darren McFadden, maybe it was. I don't remember his name, but he was wearing like a bunch of different jerseys, and like that's like the meme basically of like player worn nowadays.
Player worn.
Just
There it is.
they have them
Yeah,
put
like,
on like however many jerseys.
It's like, do we idolize people that much that if they just touch something, oh my God,
Yeah.
That's why I'm not into autos. I'm a sports fan and I'm a card fan. Like I love the cards, but I don't idolize people so much that I desire their autograph or that they touched something. Like they're, that's just me.
That's
I mean, I
point,
guess that's, I guess interesting. Maybe another kind of follow-up question there is like, what do you think about the difference? I think I know the answer here potentially, but because you just said you weren't into autographs, but like, do you really care, John, whether like it's a sticker autograph or an on-card autograph? Is that like, do you think that's similar to like the patches where it's like, it's almost doesn't feel like a real auto if it's not on card, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I have both because I do have autos and I've pulled, a bunch over the years out of packs. And certainly the on cards are nicer and more desirable. But would I turn down, a Satchel Paige sticker auto on a card or something? No.
Right.
But clearly the on cards just present nicer. They just present nicer. A lot of times those stickers, like the signature's cut off, like he went beyond the sticker and it looks, it doesn't look complete.
Yeah.
It's kind of sloppy. Right. I have a Stan Musial when it's like a partial. They like embedded a sticker in a Legends card. So yeah, clearly on card is nicer.
Nice. Yeah.
Victor, but it's
Victor,
not
how
because
about you?
he touched the card. That's not why.
Right.
Because he touched the sticker too.
Right.
If that's why you're collecting it.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And Victor, kind of same question to you. Is it like, do you think it really matters one way or the other, whether it's on card or if it's a sticker? I mean, or for you, is it like you have to go one way or the other?
Yeah, I'm more in favor of on card 100%. I wish the manufacturers would listen to the hobby already and do away with stickers and do away with these little jersey napkins. But at the same time, it's I don't know. It's challenging to get these players to sign on card autos. I see the challenges that they're faced with. I see the benefit and the convenience of them just sending the player an envelope full of stickers. I get it, but there's the hobby. We're so tired of that kind of stuff. So
yeah, and that's what it boils down to. It's just logistics and ease, and they can do a whole bunch at a time without sending the cards. And then the other side of that is we live in a PSA 10 world. They start sending all these cards out there. They're not going to be 10s, and then the hobby's going to have a meltdown because they don't have 10s on their cards. I just saw this past weekend. I'm a Manny Sanguillen fan, and I'm a Manny Sanguillen collector. But I just saw a 1980 Manny Sanguillen, which is probably one of his worst looking cards, in a PSA 10, just sold for $10,000.
Wow!
And an ungraded one's about $1. Like you can find those in dollar boxes all day long. And I'm like, who the hell would pay $10,000 for a 1980 Manny Sanguillen? I don't know. It just blows my mind. I don't understand the modern hobby.
Is that like the only PSA 10? Like, because I don't even that.
I
You're right.
guess
That
it's
doesn't
low
make any,
pop, but here's the thing, and here's what I always tell everybody: like me and my age group, I have a complete set of those, and there's a thousands of people like me, you know, who have these cards, but. Who would ever think to waste your money sending in a Manny Sanguian to get it graded from 1980? You know, you're sending a lot of people aren't paying to grade $1 cards, but now they will. I think you're going to see these pop reports change. Now, I'm not saying that everyone that goes in is going to get a 10 by any stretch. I understand.
Right.
Maybe a small percentage, but certainly more than are graded now, because there's literally millions of these things out there that have never been graded, or at least 100,000 that have, you know, never been graded.
Right.
Hey,
so I was just looking through my 1982 O-Pee-Chee baseball set. I have them in a binder, and I'm looking and I'm like, I know there's a whole bunch in here that'll get 10s, 9s, no doubt. Like I pulled these things from packs myself. They went straight into storage for all these years. And how many more people are like me out there? You know, that Mickey Mantle that sold for over $12 million sat in a drawer in a screw down for 30 years. You know, and how many more? We see these all the time. All these attic finds. There was just a new Babe Ruth variation discovered. Every week you're hearing about this stuff. So you can't trust these pop reports as much as you think you can. I think they're going to change over time, because as my generation dies off, or just sells in retirement, and we're seeing it more and more and more. Like I said, every week, the families are going to be sending these things into grading, or the auction houses, or whoever, or chasing cardboard or whatever. They're going to be grading all this stuff, and I think you're going to see a lot of pop reports for the higher grades go up. So you got to,
and I mean,
I think you have to be careful. Look at the Black Swamp find, right? Are you familiar with that? There were only like a handful of high graded ones. And then the Black Swamp find came in, and now there's, 20 Hannes Wagners and 9s and 10s and 20 Cobbs and that.
Right.
And all of a sudden the pop reports tripled. And so if you were paying for that original pop report because it's low, you kind of got screwed there a little bit. But fortunately, prices have kept going up, so maybe not. But all things being equal, if the pop reports triple, that's an issue if you're paying up for those.
Right, exactly. And I mean, that like you said, I mean, that's a good example of why the industry is so, it can be so quick to things change at times, like, because, one card sells for 10K, and if it's the only PSA 10, everyone runs to their attics and goes, I have one of these, and then they send it in, and then maybe you get, you're not going to get all 10s, but you get 3, 4, 5 more PSA 10s. It's like that. I don't know if it always necessarily like halves the value or brings the value down any more significantly, but like in theory it should, because now you have more of them are available. It's like, with the Jordan PSA 10 or the Mickey Mantle PSA 10, it's like the Mickey Mantle, there's probably not going to be any more 10s that ever get graded of that card, but like the Jordan, there's PSA 10s that get graded every year. Now there aren't that many. There's probably like 2 or 3 every single year that get graded a 10 that add to the pop report, but it's like such a small percentage compared to like this card. Like if it only has 1,000 or 2,000 total on the pop report, if a PSA 10 sells for 10,000, you're right, it's probably going to double or triple that population report just because one card sells.
Yeah, the Mickey Mantle, when you're talking 1952 tops, hell, most of those cards didn't come out of the packs 10s, right?
Right.
But when you get into the 80s, and I understand there are some tough years, but still, there's still so much unopened material out there. And by the 80s, people were keeping their cards in really nice shape. They were putting them straight into top loaders, straight into binders or whatever. They're not like the 52, that was oversized, harder to store. There weren't card holders in 1952. I'm actually suspect a lot of these high grades that I see, to be honest with you. I was on Dr. Beckett's podcast, and we were talking about this. He is too. I'm so suspect of old cards that are in that kind of condition, knowing everything I know now about trimming and card cleaning and everything.
Yeah.
Remember when the card pages, when they first came out, John, how they used to smell like PVC?
Yeah.
And there was a big
Oh, I miss that
recall on them.
smell. It just smelled like pure plastic.
Yeah,
Yeah. They were real thick, but I'll
yeah,
tell you what, they protected the heck
they
out of the
sure
cards because
did.
they were nice and thick. You
Yeah,
know,
Yeah.
some of the modern binder pages that you'll buy at I don't know, Target or whatever. A lot of those are like real flimsy.
yeah.
I don't even think they protect the card too well. You know, but you got to get those nice BCW pages or something. But those old ones, they were so thick.
Yeah.
Even our penny sleeves. You remember those oversized penny sleeves? They were like taller.
Yeah.
They were not so clear, but man, they protected the cards so well.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, I
Adam.
mean, that's no. I mean, this is part the conversation. Honestly, went hopefully exactly the way that we were. The chat was probably looking for. Because I mean, vintage stuff. I mean, there's tons of news every single day. But when you can get people talking about vintage, I mean, I think a lot of people in the audience probably enjoy that type of conversation more than they do some of the.
Well, you know,
topics.
Victor and I were reminiscing there a little bit, but there's something to be learned about people who collected back then, as pertains to like the pop reports and stuff.
Right.
You know, you might not think these cards are out there, but I'm telling you, 1980s cards and stuff. I pulled 9 Ricky Henderson rookie cards out of packs myself as a kid when I put the set together. 9.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm like, holy cow, this thing, how many are out there? And so it makes sense if PSA is, you know, limiting how many they'll give a 10 to now, because it's not exactly a rare card. But the 10 makes it rare. You know, that's the new scarcity.
Yeah.
The grade is the new scarcity.
Well, and since we peeled back the PSA scab with John, they had some news in the hobby this week, and that is the raising of prices yet again, and another backlog. Let's talk about that for a minute because I'm kind of salty about it. So there's a $2.
Well, go ahead, Victor. Go ahead, Victor. You have the floor here.
There's a $2 upcharge for TCG, and then the backlog we've gone from for bulk now. We've gone from 45-day to 65-day, and of course that's business days. So we can very easily call that 90 days.
Right.
But I'm a little upset about it because, and the main reason why I'm upset about it is because of I just feel like this. Everything was running smooth. They got their legs back under them, and then they merged with GameStop, and it seems like ever since they did that, the tables have been flipped again, and there's just like mass chaos again. I'm hoping. I'm pretty sure they're smart enough to figure it out, but I just really think they've bit off more than they can chew, and again. The ones who pay the consequences once again are the collectors and the hobby. Now we're stuck with more backlog and you're getting more reports. Man, I sent submissions out in August. I got one out in October, and here we are in the middle of April, and these folks haven't gotten their submissions back. And you got to do better, PSA. I love you to death. You know, I love you, but you've got to do better, man. And I just don't understand. We're grading 1.4 million cards a month, and I did the math. And if we average it out at $20 a card, they're making $28 million a month. Okay, figure it out.
And that's if you're just submitting value in bulk, basically. So like that's probably not, or maybe you did the math there, but like that's not even including any ones that are doing, you know, same day or next day or you know, they're doing ultra submissions or whatever the names of them are. Because now there's just names for every different submission has a different name for it. So I mean, I'm in a similar boat as you, Victor, here, where I just wish I don't know. I wish at some point they would just here's the price, here's how long it's going to take. I don't know why. Like at some point. There's no, I feel like there's almost no way that they can grade more cards than they're grading right now. So it's like at some point they have to just say, okay, here's the price, here's how long it's going to take. Like, I feel like the constant changing of prices and constant changing of backlog, it's like, I don't understand how that keeps happening. Like we were dealing, sure, I understand when that was happening in 2020, 2021, where like grading became like the thing to do in the hobby was grade cards. So I understand, the backlog and shutting things down back then, but it's like now we're in 2025 and we're back dealing with backlogs and increasing in pricing. To me, I feel like at some point you just gotta be like, hey, figure it out. Like, come on, like what are we really doing here?
Yeah, I think they will. But here's something that I learned here recently, Adam, and we see the craze of Pokemon, and I'm thinking when I look at the number, there's more TCG cards being graded than there are sports cards, and I'm like, what the heck? Why? This is a game that we're supposed to be playing. Why the heck are we grading so many Pokemon cards? But when I looked, and I just found this out here recently, when you look at the PSA set registry under TCG, there is, oh my goodness, this PSA set registry and Pokemon cards is huge, and I believe that's part of the issue here.
Right. Yeah. John, I'll kick it to you. Do you have any kind of thoughts on increase in pricing and backlogs and all that kind of stuff?
I have two very important thoughts on the current PSA situation. Number one, now you send your cards into them and they send them straight to their eBay store to be sold. And the optics of that and the potential for fraud there is just makes that, to me, if you're going to be, I think it cheapens their brand. If you're going to be the authenticator, and then now you're moving into being the seller in addition to the authenticator, I think is a bad look. Number two, and I don't mean any offense to any of you, especially you, Victor, but I am so sick and tired of hearing people complain about PSA because it doesn't matter. I watch 100 videos of people complaining about PSA. I have a friend, they've damaged multiple cards of his, and everybody, no matter what they do, is going to turn around, and all these people turn around and give them 5,000 more submission the next week. So as long as you're going to use them, just suck it up and take it, because it's the way it is. They have the minimum, the graders have 2 minutes to grade a card. If you break down the math, 2 minutes. They're not double checked by people. You can tell that by some of the blatant errors that they have. And they pull the graders off the streets. You only need a minimum of 1 year collecting experience to be a card grader. And that's a problem for vintage cards, because these guys have never seen these things. I mean, my mom can grade modern cards. They all look pretty much the same.
Yeah, right, exactly.
All right, I'm
let's
done.
see. Just gonna bring up some of the comments here. Jeremy from Sports Call Live says, good morning, everybody. Good morning, Jeremy. You've caught literally the last 2 minutes of the show, so shout out to Jeremy. What's up? How we doing? Let's see. We've got Steel, tomfoolery and shenanigans. Yeah, nice. Let's see what else we got. We got Mad City Brew in the house also. I believe 1 Million Cubs Project's also been here, and then it's all good. All good, Jeremy. I know you're in Canada, or I think Toronto, I believe. But yeah, I mean, we're kind of coming up on the top of the hour here. So I mean, I'll do one more kind of round of thoughts and stuff here for everybody, and then we'll kind of wrap up the show. Victor, I'll start with you. Anything you want to plug, anything you got coming up, let the audience know where they can find you, all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah, no, my typical Saturday is content creation. So as soon as I'm done here, nice. I'm just gonna fire up the video and do some contact for my Sunday release. And other than that, status quo here, getting ready for the upcoming week.
Nice. Awesome. John, how about you? Where can people find you? What you got coming up? Anything you want to plug? Let the audience know.
There's nothing really I want to plug. My YouTube channel is the Mangini Collection. I'm on Facebook under the Mangini Collection. I have a page with almost all my cards on there for anybody that wants to take a look, broken into albums by all the different sets, that go back to the 1800s. And That's about it. I'm waiting on a big box from BCW of supplies. So I'm going to have some fun here as soon as it arrives. That's how I'm going to spend my Saturday. And I'm going to listen to YouTube videos like Victor's and listen in on some Strongsville. And anybody that wants to see some phenomenal looking vintage cars, there's lots of Strongsville video right now. And they're showing you all the stuff that dealers have. And man, there's some amazing stuff on there.
Yeah. Definitely. I want to say shout out to everybody in the chat. Thank you for watching or listening, depending on if you're listening to this podcast. We'll be back here next Saturday for, I guess it would be 341 here on the Hobby Hotline channel, and then also on the Bench Clear Media. We'll be on both channels here. So make sure you come check out the show next week. For me, it's just Heroes for Sale everywhere on SI, collecting on SI, Hobby News Daily podcast, all of these places that I create content here. So, shout out to everybody. Thank you all for listening and watching, and we will see you all next week.